As family, did you ever have disagreements about things?
Oh, yes. Healthy disagreement.
The last thing you disagreed on, how did you resolve it?
I can't remember. They come so thick and fast.
Is it resolved? We don't know.
There have been more evil royals than Meghan Markle in history, but she sure is the most annoying one ever. She was barely an official royal, yet has moaned about it endlessly.
It's hard, because not many people have asked if I'm okay.
Several years ago, where I couldn't be as vocal and I had to wear nude pantyhose all the time. Let's be honest, that was not very myself. I hadn't seen pantyhose since movies in the 80s when they came in the little egg. When I didn't feel as though I had as much of an opportunity to speak, well, what can you say with what you're wearing? You can say a lot.
Quite a lot.
You can say a lot. You know, there was a long time where I wasn't out talking. So if you couldn't hear me, how could I be heard through what I was wearing if that's what people were focusing on? And so being able to support, especially female-founded designers, small local brands, to really see their business just do so well as a result, or how many people they could help, or how much they could give back, or
And you're saying you were purposeful with that?
Of course. There's intention.
The Duchess has worn 7 figures worth of dresses and shining jewelry during her royal life. But Meghan didn't spend any money on them. It was mostly Prince Charles who paid for these outfits.
The choices I was making that you didn't have to say a word, but it would move product for small companies I think in moments where I found I wasn't as empowered with my voice, I still wanted to be able to be heard in other ways. I still wanted women to know that I was supporting them. I still wanted people to feel like even if I didn't get an uplift from that they did.
Meghan Markle is redefining royal fashion and at a hefty price, $1 million since the day she became Prince Harry's fiancée.
Small businesses who would take women out of positions of being trafficked and instead give them jobs. And by wearing those jeans, I knew it was going to allow them to save more women. So they gave the positions and the roles to women who would have been trafficked. And they took them off the streets and they put them into this labor force to be able to have a well-paying job where they were well taken care of. And then being able to hear the stories of how it has helped them or their businesses. And even just, it could have been the day that they were going to give up. Could have been the day that they're just going, why am I doing this? It's not worth it. To be able to help that company and get letters from those founders saying, we were able to help save 25 women because of you wearing these jeans, that is a huge privilege of influence.
That privilege of influence only came because of her then royal status, and she blew it.
And I never took that lightly. So
she always took it lightly.
And if I can come in with a little sprinkle of fairy dust just by wearing a bracelet or doing something and that changes the course of their business, that's a huge honor to be able to have that kind of impact for someone.
That impact comes from being a royal, not a jam maker.
I mean, you're going to have a bigger platform, a bigger voice. What do you want to do with it?
As you said, the causes that have been very important to me, I can focus even more energy on because very early out of the gate, I think you realize once you have access or a voice that people are willing to listen to, with that comes a lot of responsibility, which I take seriously.
She did not take it seriously. If she took it seriously, she'd be saving lives, not making jam.
As an adult who lived a really independent life, to then go into this construct, it's really liberating to be able to have the right and the privilege in some ways to be able to say yes.
And to
I'm
say
ready
it
to
for
talk.
yourself.
To say it for
and
yourself.
not to have to consult with anybody at this point.
Yeah, to be able to just make a choice on your own and just be able to speak for you.
Meghan had more of a platform to speak as a royal, but she'd rather hustle on social media platforms.
Get my voice back. Yeah, and that's really, it's my space and my channel for joy. That is the intention.
It's all about her own joy. She couldn't pretend to live a life of service.
And I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
Meghan Markle opened up to Oprah Winfrey about her mental health struggles.
You've said some pretty shocking things here.
She made such a hue and cry about her mental health, yet when she got the chance to work on and speak up on mental health, she didn't.
The other interesting fact as well was that only 2% of people at work go to HR to talk about mental health. 2%.
The three royals stayed on track on the topic of mental health. And there was Meghan with her word salad.
For me, it's very important to, once you hit the ground running, even if you're doing it quietly behind the scenes, which is what I've focused my energy on thus far, is meeting with the right people, meeting with the right organizations behind the scenes quietly, learning as much as I can so that I can maximize the opportunity we have here to really make an impact. I think what's interesting is I hear a lot of people saying when speaking about girls' empowerment, finding and knowing their worth, or women's empowerment as well, you'll often hear people say, well, you're helping women find their voices. And I fundamentally disagree with that, because women don't need to find a voice. They have a voice. They need to feel empowered to use it. So, I guess we wait a couple months and then we can hit the ground running.
She hit the ground running away from royal duties. William explained the key to the royal family's success, which is the opposite of what Meghan is.
We discussed that what made the royal family different to other institutions was its ability to focus on the long term. In an age when our pressures seem so urgent, our attention spans so short, our foundation could look beyond the horizon. What would make our foundation unique would be its ability to make a difference by bringing people together.
These opportunities were wasted on her.
I have been fortunate enough to meet with some incredible women and organizations in general in the UK that are doing work here, but then also, so this reach, I think, can have some really nice legs to it once we can start. But
After
I guess,
May.
Yes, exactly. To be continued.
Okay.
Instead of being a class act, Meghan Markle was a clown show. She kept breaking protocols and making a fool of herself. She mocks and moans about the monarchy, yet desperately clings on to her Duchess title.
Is Meghan Duchess of Sussex? But yes, since we've been married, that's what I've been called.
It's a burning question. What have you learned about yourself since becoming Sussex?
Well, interesting. What I learned about myself is no matter what my name is or what people call me, I'm still the same person. So that didn't change who I am.
One can't be the same low-class commoner and also represent the monarchy properly. Meghan can't live up to her titles.
When do you feel the least Duchess of Sussex?
Oh my God. Sitting here eating a smash burger with you being asked these questions. Okay.
A better question would have been to ask Meghan, what about her is Duchess-like? Nothing.
Okay, all right. I can't wait.
Monk.
Meghan has destroyed the magic and mystery of the monarchy around her. She didn't have to try hard to sell her brand before. People were buying anything and everything with her face on it. Now she's struggling to sell jars of jam.
I always think about that version of me who there might be a brand or a person that you look up to and you want to have a piece of what they're sharing in the world. And that can't be something that is out of price range. That can't be something that is so aspirational, you're never going to be able to afford it.
Yes, it can be. That's the secret of the monarchy.
So there is something I think really important in that the first hero product was this $9 jar of jam, which my 15-year-old self would have been able to buy. And then after you finish the jam, you could use that to put your flowers in it, little jar, or your pens on your desk.
Her 15-year-old self was dreaming of the monarchy, not jam.
And I liked the idea of having something that just felt signature in that way.
Signature of what? She's become an annoying girl boss who's as clueless as ever about her own signature or USP.
All of these things are exciting to me, and I can do all of them well enough. Mm-hmm. But can you do all of them exceptionally well? No, probably not.
There's almost nothing of value that Meghan can do exceptionally well. She's tried being an actress, a royal, an author, a philanthropist, a producer, a podcaster, an entrepreneur, and has been mediocre at all of it.
The number one question that mystifies scientists.
Is there life on another planet?
Oh no, why does Meghan Markle make her own pretzel bags?
This, we're just gonna put into a different bag.
That's interesting. She takes it from one bag and puts it in another bag.
Another bag.
And that confuses people.
Recently released viewership numbers reveal With Love Meghan did hit the top 10 initially, but ultimately only had 5.3 million views and ranked 383rd on Netflix's watch list.
Her Netflix show is mediocre, as are her As Ever products.
What really is the brand identity beyond the jam, which, yes, is the hero product? But then as we've gone into different SKUs, flour sprinkles became quite a thing. It sounds so, of all things to be talking about for Time 100. Let's talk about flour sprinkles.
She's at Time 100 talking about selling dried bits of flour. How can anyone take her seriously?
You would think it's like a little fairy if I could just be tossing them around all the time. The obsession that has come with flour sprinkles, because I think it speaks to the tiny moments of joy that are so effortless and just create a little bit of magic that we're all craving in our everyday.
Do you want to try some of these?
What do we do with them? Do you snort them?
They're tiny little flower petals that are dried. I started putting them on salads. I started putting them on scrambled eggs. It didn't actually matter. On a yogurt parfait.
It's like eating potpourri.
The level of charm that you find people have when they see these tiny little dried petals is something I can't fully wrap my head around, but I appreciate.
Meghan, girl, I really want to see you succeed. Put down the flour sprinkles. Stop. Stop with the edible flowers. Stop with the flour sprinkles. Nobody likes that. It's weird.
That there is a love for the detail and the small level of delight that can be added.
I want to see you succeed, but you gotta put down the flour sprinkles, Meghan.
Meghan clearly lacks talent and creativity. All her recent projects have been beyond boring.
Okay, welcome to Archetypes. Let's do this. You ready? So Archetypes is my podcast that we just launched recently, and it's really about dissecting and unboxing these labels and these tropes that try to hold women back. So then I was doing Confessions of a Female Founder as I was building this. I'd always loved the podcast, how I built this, and I thought, could we do something that feels a little bit like the tenor of how I'm building this? Between the series and between the brand, I thought, how interesting is it to be able to listen to the conversations of someone building a business while they're doing it? Be candid, both talking to female founders who had scaled and sold, and equally to other founders that were on their first run, in many ways like I was.
If there's some hiccup along the way that doesn't land in the same way, even like in a small internal team on how it's tracking, I go, well, okay, all right, I was really excited about it, but let's think about how we can make this something that really works at scale, because I don't want this to be a niche product line.
What do you want it to be? What don't you want it to be?
I don't want it to feel generic. I don't want it to feel cookie cutter. I don't want it to feel like it was phoned in. Mm-hmm. And I know that it would be impossible to feel that way because I know how much time I spend on it, from soup to nuts. But I want it to be something that people feel excited to have in their home, and especially that people feel excited to gift. It's still rooted in something that feels very true to me, and that's the springboard for everything else. It starts in the garden, starts with this beautiful, humble pot of jam that I don't care who you are, you're a little bit charmed by jam. But then what does that do? That introduces you to what are the extensions of that I want you to start or end your day with, that I want you to treat yourself with or gift to friends. And then you say, well, now you're in my home. So what are the other hospitality and hostess pieces I want you to be able to share? And we move from the kitchen into a much broader space. We began our relationship with Netflix 5 years ago, purely as a production company with Archwell Productions. And we've managed to have some wonderful shows and docuseries that we're really proud of. And then with the evolution of our partnership now is them doubling down in their support of As Ever.
Just days after this interview, Netflix announced that following its initial 5-year, $100 million deal with Harry and Meghan, they've signed a reportedly far less lucrative first-look deal.
She had so much help and funding from giants like Netflix and Spotify, and yet she fumbled the bag so terribly.
Netflix, they have an entire team that they've devoted to this project specifically, being As Ever. Separate team for With Love Meghan, that's a crew of about 80 people.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
So there's a lot of different teams. And at the same time, my core team that sits around me for all of the projects is very, very strong, savvy women.
So we're able to say 8 episodes for 2 seasons. It's a lot of work.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard, and I appreciate what hard work looks like. I like working hard. And I'm still working hard.
Meghan has an army of people helping her, yet she pretends like she works so hard.
And what are the next SKUs, and what's the next tranche of products, and what's the timing on that, and writing the newsletters and writing the social media captions and making sure that all that feels in line, and what's the cadence of it, and what's the photography that we want to do, and what do I want to wear for those shoots, while also editing all the time-coded notes for season 2 of With Love Meghan, and then being in edits for the podcast, and being a mom and a wife and a friend.
Yeah. Those are all jobs, right? I mean,
Yes.
I want everything that I'm thinking about, that I have poured my heart and soul into. It's not just jam. Could I just go and make a preserve somewhere and stick my name on it? Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I love being that busy, but I do think it's really interesting when people have no sense of what goes into the thing.
Yeah.
And then when the thing seems as though it's like, oh, well, wow, huge. The thing's not done. The finish line was really the starting line.
Meghan's always making excuses for not meeting expectations. Her ability to blame everything and anyone except her own inadequacy is astonishing.
When I was an auditioning actress, at that time, there were certainly not a lot of mixed race parts.
Really?
No.
Really?
She might be the most glass half-empty celebrity ever.
It was Girl Next Door. That was typically blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and a certain look. But because I'm half white, I would also be submitted for those roles. And then if it was a character that had any sort of ethnicity, there was always a bit of a edge to those characters, but I'd be submitted for those roles. And I also, to a lot of people in casting, they thought I was Latina. So I share that because, and I've shared this before,
It was a numbers game. If I'm only up for 10 parts, that could be 10 no's. But if I'm up for 30 parts, because I can fit into so many different rooms, that could be 30 no's.
She needs to learn something from her neighbor Oprah, who attributes her success to an attitude of gratitude.
And I think I realized, wow, I'm using this opportunity to share, and I love that, but I also need to use this opportunity to listen. I have very valuable insight coming from women who have been through this before. And if I'm not going to take the cue that we are teaching people, what's the point?
I think my learns were to continue to give yourself the grace to have to pivot, and you do.
Meghan has been given many graces, but she keeps giving many excuses.
Because that first sellout, we said, great, let's 10x the inventory for the next seasonal drop. We'll get all the metrics that we need. And then it sold out within 4 hours, which again is amazing, but also not helpful.
But I'm still never willing to sacrifice or compromise on the quality and to take my time. Someone else's urgency is not my urgency.
So then we prepped for the second seasonal drop and 10x'd our inventory and thought for sure that would at least last for a couple weeks. That sold out in a couple hours. And suddenly the conversation goes from at the start of this year talking about a few thousand jars and lids to we need to do a purchase order of 1 million. And that's a huge jump in just a few months of starting a business.
And potential for success. And is that the same metric that someone else is putting on it? No. For me, it would have been a huge success and not a failure if I was selling my homemade jams at Farmers Market. And I'd gotten a cottage license. I applied for that in the county of Santa Barbara, where you can literally go and yes, I was like, great, you can make the goods in your home and sell them. That would have been a success for me. It matters because I think the misconception is when you have a very large machine and a very powerful and influential machine like a partner as with Netflix, and you have me and the profile and all of the attention that brings as well, you have the two of us together. Yes, it's an incredible partnership with a lot of, I'm proud of them. They've got a lot of clout behind them.
Yes.
And at the same time, we're still a startup.
Meghan calling her business a startup is a joke. She's not some lone woman scraping together funds from her piggy bank. She's Prince Harry's wife. If she still can't drum up interest in her brand despite being a royal, that's a major L on her part.
How long does it take to develop each product? What's that process like?
Oh, goodness. There was a lot of, again, flying the plane while you're still building it.
Meghan is so in over her head that not even the monarchy or Netflix can save her.
I'm exasperated in some ways by that, only because it is such a tedious proposition to scale your own home recipe to something at mass and maintain the same, not just quality, but the same flavor that you're able to do at home.
I want the jam spread thin. I mean spread thin on toast. Yes. So someone else's sense of what that looks like is not necessarily what mine is.
I think any home cook would say that. If you say, great, can you make your cobbler that I love? I say, great, of course I can make my cobbler. Great, can you make 1,000,000 cobblers? Can you teach someone how to make 1,000,000 cobblers that taste just like the one that you have at home? I also have to be conscious of, people who really understand canning can say the bricks method when you're going at scale.
The more she blabbers about her business, the more she exposes how incompetent she really is.
I love the creation stage. So, yes, now that I can see with more dedicated focus on the brand, knowing our trajectory, looking at the business plan, being able to pinpoint where these key moments are going to be, I can also very comfortably say, as this continues to grow to where I want it to scale, what's my next thing going to be?
She's always jumping to the next thing without ever delivering on the last.
I don't know. The last time I was on Instagram, you guys, boomerang was a thing. That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago, and yet Meghan hasn't evolved much since.
Free Yogurt, that was my first job. And, when I used to do calligraphy gift wrapping at Paper Source, and advanced gift wrapping. So, all of those things that you do as an auditioning actor, that's not the full circle I was expecting, but here we are. I'll give you an example. The unboxing experience, where I was so concerned on the aesthetic of how something would be received, because it goes back to presentation and hospitality in so many ways.
I said, "Do we have the dimensions on the boxes?" No, I said, "But I need to get the dimensions." They were finally able to give them to me, what the 3PL was going to have, and the tissue paper.
But I needed to see it and feel it. I needed my hands in it, which I think is part of, for me, my authentic self is really being involved in the creative and the granular.
So I went online, I bought all these cardboard boxes, bought all the tissue paper, and the filler and everything that should go inside, and I just sat there in my kitchen, replicating this unboxing until I
realized I think this is going to be the right metric and size that we're looking for.
Meghan went from the crown to cardboard boxes. It's like she's trying to be the most annoying celebrity ever.
My wife in 2018 was the most trolled person in the world.
She's been named the most disliked celeb of the year.
It's not me that they're talking about. It's some caricature they've had to create to get clicks. And I'm very clear on the difference between the two. I guess the distinction there is those people don't know me and they're not talking about me. And that's a really hard place to come to terms with. Yeah. But that's the truth. So
the truth is that Meghan doesn't know her real self.
I'm just being myself. When you're able to dress the way you want to dress and you're able to say the things that are true and you're able to show up in the space really organically and authentically, I think the authenticity is probably what will help it stand apart.
With an intentional and authentic point of view. In a way that is thoughtful and intentional and so authentic.
I'm oblivious to a lot of things, but that allows me to live my life really authentically, make choices authentically. There's still a whole life, a real authentic, fun life that's happening behind the scenes. I think if part of it is just being able to authentically share in real time. Just be authentic. Did you see my baby mama dance? I mean, stop it. You have to be so authentically the role model and the example of confidence.
Meghan knows how inauthentic she is. That's why she desperately tries to convince people she's real.
I just want people to know that I'm a real person. But maybe there would be less noise if people remembered that I'm a real person.
You're a real person.
Yeah.
I can say I'm here and I can attest.
Pinch me, I'm real. She's real. She's a real person.
Meghan always comes across as a fraud, an imposter.
You're the Mike Ross of
I was such a fraud. And also looking around and wondering, how on earth did I get here?
I don't feel imposter syndrome. I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now.
I waffle with some of my choices before I make them. I'm generally very decisive, but social media is a great barometer for this for me because putting out a video of myself 9 months pregnant was a really big choice, but I also wanted people to see themselves in my story and our story and to be able to show that with all the noise that might happen in the world on a day-to-day basis, real life is still happening behind the scenes. really real life.
Meghan's Instagram is highly curated and as fake as she is.
Yourself?
No, I think, how funny, no. I think I finally get to share the me that's been here for so long that people maybe haven't had the same visibility to. Coming back on Instagram was a really big decision, but also it's just been joyful. And I'm really intentional in using it as a platform to share joy and to have fun.
So much joy and fun that she's terrified to allow comments on her profile. She can't handle the feedback.
Yet part of that challenge that I was trying to solve for was, then how do I create community? That is so key to this brand, and it's so key to how I like to show up in the world. How do we actually connect if you can't have comments and exchange?
It only cements her image as a delusional liar and hypocrite.
As a founder, knowing what you don't know is so important. Like, you've got to
being
know
honest
what you're
about
great at.
it.
Yes.
Be honest about it.
Rewrite your public narrative from scratch. Is there anything that you would do differently?
Yes, I would ask people to tell the truth.
You even let your mind go there?
I do not think about failing. No.
You're not scared of failing?
Is anything actually a failure?
I think I knew who I was trying to meet. And so if you know your audience, you know your demographic, well, they love the show.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
And I just think there really is a lot of value to when you anchor into your own knowing, then you're telling your own story.
Yeah.
You're telling your own story and how you show up in the world, what you do. You actually don't need to say anything.
Yet she keeps saying the same thing over and over again.
Oh gosh, I remember these, my classmates too. Let's see.
Commercial. I knew something would be done because I was
I still make
furious.
that face.
This commercial came on with the tagline for this dishwashing liquid, and the tagline said, "Women all over America are fighting greasy pots and pans."
Was talking about an experience that I had when I was 11 years old.
And I said, wait a minute, how could somebody say that? I think I'll write a letter.
I did, I wrote a few. Yeah. And then I went into middle school feeling very confident because I was able to affect change for good.
That is to say, that girl has been in you since the beginning.
Yes. I think our character, who we are at your core, I don't think that shifts. I think a lot of behaviors and habits and roles that you end up playing in your life can bring out the best or worst in a lot of people, but you're still who you are.
Meghan isn't the same person anymore.
I am proud to be a woman and a feminist.
I saw you do an interview in 2016, and you had some choice words for President Trump.
I think it was in 2012, like the Republican Party lost the female vote by 12 points. That's a huge number. And with as misogynistic as Trump is and so vocal about it, that's a huge chunk of it.
She used to be all about women's rights, but she's no longer the bold disruptor she once was.
Of course it was a different time. I was excited to be on the show, and I think if there's anything that I wanted to say or that felt necessary to say, then I would say it. But that's not where I'm at right now. I don't think I haven't said anything since 2016.
2 boys from my class said, yeah, that's where women belong, in the kitchen.
And I remember, look, the boys in the classroom said, yeah, that's where women belong, in the kitchen. And that's really what upset me.
I remember feeling shocked and angry and also just feeling so hurt. It just wasn't right, and something needed to be done.
And whatever it was in me at 11 years old, it sparked this frustration and this desire for change. And I was certain on, in all of this, was that's wrong. Let's do something about it.
What she's done about it is create a brand out of being a woman in the kitchen. But she's not even boldly claiming this rebrand either.
Take that you're glorifying homemaking or glorifying trad wives.
Oh, really? That feels odd to me.
Why is it odd?
Yeah, how do you respond to that?
That feels odd to me. I mean, I hadn't heard that.
Meghan doubles down on all sorts of rubbish, yet can't double down on celebrating homemaking. Meghan is so confused about her rebrand. Instead of selling the magic of homemaking, She rattles on about boring business nonsense.
Because I'm business minded, I'm immediately going, okay, well, this is going to be a big pivot. Now what? Because I knew that I had a decision to make, which came down to what is our timeline to be able to restock these products that we had? Well, we can restock what we had at those same quantities. I think scarcity is great if it happens organically at the onset, but at a certain point, even being consumer minded, I would be fatigued if that kept happening and I was going to a website. So I said, okay, let's take this opportunity to grow, to have exponentially more SKUs as well as more inventory.
Meghan's constantly trying to be someone she's not.
Even though I wasn't seeing it, you could feel the energy of it. So you feel a lot of pressure to go, is this hair out of place? I bet it is, but I'm okay with it. Is someone gonna say something about anything? Probably. Once you make peace with the fact that they're gonna say something about anything, and that's a hard place to get, where you can make peace with that.
She keeps chasing perfection, but she doesn't know what she's trying to perfect.
I don't think there's anything valuable about trying to be perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. And I guess my version of the closest thing to perfection would be being really comfortable in your own skin.
She's not comfortable in her skin. She's constantly shape-shifting. She often says things that completely contradict her behavior.
I've already settled it for myself, so flattery and criticism go down the same drain, and I'm quite free.
I don't feel that I need to prove anything.
To prove that you're enough, you have to prove that you're pretty enough, you have to prove that you're smart enough, you prove that you're a good wife or a good friend, and I was like, I am just so done with the prove it game. When you get to the place where you feel I don't have to prove anything to you anymore. I don't have to prove that I'm a good person. I don't have to prove to you that I'm a good wife or mom or friend. I don't have to prove that I work hard.
Then I think you just settle into being yourself.
Because I know that I'm a great friend. And I know the kind of mom I am. And I know the kind of human being I am. And I know how I show up. And I love being able to be that person with the people that I love. So, worthiness, maybe part of worthiness comes when you stop having to feel like you're in the prove it game.
Meghan is stuck in the prove it game because she isn't what she pretends to be. If people expect her to prove that she's a good wife and a good mom, it's because she's proven to be a bad wife and a bad mom.
I'm a real mom. I choose to go and do school pickup and drop off, but I do that under a landscape that is created that forgets that I'm a real person. I'm a real mom.
She's a real annoying mom.
Our kids are really young. They're 2.5 and 4.5.
They're young. They're 3 and 5.
Archie and Lily are just 3 and 5. Our kids are 4 and 6.
Our children, Archie and Lily, are just 6 and 4 years old. Can you believe it?
There's something so off about the way Meghan talks about her kids. It's like she's unfamiliar with them or with motherhood itself.
I must have, years ago, because I just had Lily.
And you made it home for one day to see your kids.
Yes, I had to. Amazing nanny who's been with us for 5 years. She'll take them to school for us. And
Meghan has had multiple nannies taking care of her kids and seems so unmaternal herself. Yet she wants the world to believe she's the ultimate mother.
Being a mom is the most important thing in my entire life. And
so once we've gotten the kids to bed and I've played a little Wordle or done my 10 minutes of Duolingo, get both of them up, I get them dressed, get them downstairs, make breakfast. And then if I haven't done their lunch boxes the night before, then do that. I love doing lunch boxes. It makes me very happy. And writing a little note in their lunch boxes. Remember when you were doing your first lunchbox? I told you little tips there.
Yep.
Oh, I
so
love
you have
packing
to
the lunchbox.
You do?
Yes.
Oh,
that's like.
Stop it, Meghan. No, you don't. Do you
Yes,
do
I
it?
do.
Lisa, do you make shapes and make it look all beautiful? Is it a sprinkle situation? Are we putting?
Sometimes.
Oh my God.
I try to do school drop off. So they're at 2 different schools. So that's our big circuit. So from 6:30 in the morning on drop off mornings for me, I'm not home till 9. So, and then after that, I'll just jump into meetings. And I love that I can do drop off and pick up at school and do meetings in between and go to Disneyland for 2 days, as we just did. And volunteer to serve hot lunch at school or be the chaperone for the kindergarten field
you're
trip.
So good. You're making me look so bad.
Okay, on a busy night, what is your go-to easy kids meal?
Oh, that's so easy.
That's so easy.
On the longest day where there is no time and you don't want any fuss, frozen chicken nuggets, frozen tater tots, they both go in the toaster oven. My daughter loves macaroni and cheese, so one of the ones from Annie's, quickly whip that up.
I do put in some chia seeds or flax, and then some broccoli from the garden. They're great about that. I'll say, can you go pick it? You don't, yes. And be like, I don't have broccoli for my children to go and pick. That's fine. Take the bag of broccoli from your fridge, and I just quickly toss it in with the pasta water at the last couple minutes, so it gets a little bit done. Okay.
That's it. For your kids for breakfast, genuinely, and it makes the morning a lot more fun. But can I just show you if you just made one?
Please, yes.
It's a real delight in being able to be a present parent. And it's a luxury sometimes because we all have to work. We all have a lot of stuff to do, but when you can take a minute to just...
Saturday morning.
Could do a little dollop of yogurt as our clouds, flour sprinkles, if we must. How you can incorporate these practices every day.
When I was doing the kids' birthday parties, I would say, I remember someone's like, are you going to get a planner, a party planner for a 2-year-old's birthday? I don't know. So where's the hybrid? You can have your hands in the creation of the joy.
Yes.
Not just the purchase of the joy, but the creation of it. And
Yes.
it's not a heavy lift, that it's
Yeah.
enough that you can go like, I did this for you.
Yes.
For her, it's all about showing off and garnering praise.
From Archie and Lily via Papa. We love your cooking. We love your pancakes. And we love, love, love your hugs. You're the best mummy and we love you. So sweet. I've become that mom where I'm like sitting around with friends and I start singing like,
Tyrannosaurus, that's the chorus, Tyrannosaurus.
I was like, what am I singing? Oh my gosh, I'm singing Storybook. I'm singing Storybox. I am not singing Beyonce in that moment. I'm singing Storybox. And I put that in practice, that's part of every day how I show up for them. And I read a lot of parenting books. I really want to be good at it. Part of what I find a lot of strength or faith in is looking at my kids. I know it sounds so cheesy, but my gosh, it's the most perspective building thing. I know that they'll feel like, oh my gosh, no one has ever loved someone more than the way our mom loved us.
Is there anything you want for your kids that's different than what you and Harry have had? Like, especially when it comes to family.
Oh yeah, I want them to have the fullness of life and family and support in a way.
And here's everything and every moment that I wanted to tell you how much I love you and like how proud I am of you. And of all things that's making me emotional. For them to be able to look back and go, oh my gosh, she has loved us so much.
To be able to carve out the life that they want for themselves. And that will very much be not necessarily mimicking, but that'll be very much reflective of the choices my husband and I have made.
And that's, I think, the best part about being a mom. And we go back to like a love language or gifts. It's not about the grandeur of a gesture. It's about I see you. I'm nurturing you and I see you so deeply. And I love being able to see your growth. And I'm just so proud of them.
So beautiful.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't expecting that one. Yeah, they're just it's just so great. This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on. And as a mom, you want to set the example for what your children are going to think about themselves. You have to be so authentically the role model and the example of confidence, self-forgiveness, kindness, fun, all of those things. Like, you can't fake that. You want to model that for them.
Meghan uses her kids to stay relevant and advance her career.
About Montecito, like what made this place feel like home more than other places?
Oh, we're just so happy because we can take our kids to school and have a really supported, sweet life, running around and doing the things that I think everyone maybe is part of your day-to-day, but if you don't think about what life would be like without those moments, it's easy to take them for granted. So I love it. We have such a beautiful, embracing community. And been able to really create and dream here.
Yeah. Well, we sometimes do a little farmer's market stand.
Nice.
So we have
beautiful.
We grow a lot of veggies, and part of what I want them
go and sell these.
In spite of all of the privilege that our children have access to and the life that they have and the opportunities that they'll be given and that they'll work for, I think from our standpoint, it all comes back to values. What do we want to raise? Great human beings, kind people, present and aware citizens, people who want to help the world and make things better. And where does that start? That starts in your kitchen, in your home, being a part of. That starts with taking your plate to the sink and contributing and not expecting that things will just be taken care of for you or handed to you.
Maybe the surprise came in when anything that my children were wearing started to get monetized and affiliate sales and part of headlines and things. That's where it became a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when it comes from a place of love and excitement, very, very different.
It's very different.
Yeah, then you can be happy about it and say, of course, have the same dress that Lily has. It's when it comes from a different side.
But all you want to do as parents is protect them. And so as we can see what's happening in the online space,
Meghan exploits her own kids on social media while preaching about the dangers of social media's effects on children.
You were just in New York, which congratulations, you just won a humanitarian award for
Thank
your work
you.
with online safety for parents and children.
Equally the work that you were talking about earlier, my husband and I spend a lot of time working on online harms, specifically surrounding protecting our children, not ours personally, but anyone who's able to make change, to look at it through the lens of, what if it was my daughter? What if it was my son? My son or my daughter who comes home, who are joyful, who I love, and one day, right under my roof, our entire lives change because of something that was completely out of our control.
And so I'd created for the kids these email addresses, but before I go to bed almost every night, I email them. And you email them like, here's your report card from today, or oh my gosh, you said the funniest thing this morning, or here's a picture of you two having breakfast, or here's you playing with the dog. The things that you're not going to frame, the things that you're not going to put pen to paper in a journal, but they will end up
on Meghan's social media.
I have full body chills right now.
But also, I do a lot of voice notes of the kids. So I'll just have my phone on as I'm putting them down to bed because their voices are going to change so much.
Meghan being worse than a creepy stalker paparazzi, constantly recording her kids.
And I knew one day it would change, but I have it. So I send them those voice notes like, here you are at 2 saying this. Here's you singing a lullaby tonight.
Like you got the voice note and then you emailed it?
Yes. It doesn't have to be a video. It doesn't have to be something. It's just you're capturing these moments, these tender moments that are going to go by like this.
And according to royal expert Hugo Vickers, what worries me much more, to be quite honest, is what the children themselves are going to think when they get a little bit older and they realize how they've been exploited.
They're going to be able to read what's been written. Do you think about that moment? Do you worry about that moment?
I think about it, but at the same time, I think my children know that I will tell them the truth. And also, I would caveat that by saying the truth based on what they can carry in that moment. But also our children get to see the example of who we are as human beings every single day.
Yeah.
So I know that will be informed by whatever they end up reading. But equally, they have the same great community that we do.
Despite Meghan's delusional declarations, even she knows that her kids will soon find out about her rubbish reputation.
Even though earlier I was saying you can compartmentalize, I say that's a caricature. Yes, but my kids will see those magazines and we all know moms gossip. And so I have to make a choice to move through the world as myself in spite of all the noise that's created. But maybe there would be less noise if people remembered that I'm a real person.
That's because she's not only an annoying mom to her kids, but she mothers Harry too. She's an annoying wife. They have a freaky Freudian dynamic. It's like he's become her puppet now. She seems to control his every move and action, telling him what to do, maneuvering him around as if he's a child. She even controls the people around him. She limits his socialization. She's always fighting Harry for dominance. She's emasculated him. It began early on in their relationship. She'd introduce Prince Harry to people as if she were the royal and not him. She would break protocol and walk into rooms before him. She'd shake hands with people first. She'd even shove him out of the way, push and pull at him. She also devalues him by never saying his name anymore.
As well as for hosting me and Harry during our special time in New Zealand.
My husband helped as well. Oh my gosh, I will tell H that for sure. And yeah.
Outside, of course, being a wife to this one.
She's so annoyingly desperate for attention, constantly trying to steal Harry's spotlight. He's now become her spare. She uses him to boost and support her endeavors now. It's all about her brand, her shows, her podcasts, her products.
That my husband is able to join me here this time.
Your husband just shared publicly for the first time. He said, I'm so happy for my wife. He says, I'm so happy for my wife and fully supportive and support absolutely everything she's done.
And that part, to have a partner and a husband who is just so supportive.
She's as rich and famous as she is, all because of Prince Harry. She's always clinging on to him and has made him trauma bonded to her. They're so cringy together. Harry has become as annoying as Meghan now.
Do we have that pap on the scooter again?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, we do? Really? Same guy?
Same guy.
Oh my God, how fun.
Watched him going to this park and then...
He's gonna be with us?
Yes, sir. He was just ahead.
Harry thinks she's his mother incarnate and is traumatized about history repeating itself. Meghan keeps playing the victim, and Harry keeps falling for it.
Look, I was really ashamed to say it at the time, and ashamed to have to admit it to Harry, especially, because I know how much loss he's suffered. But I knew that if I didn't say it, that I would do it, and I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
Oh, he's a very loving husband, so I'm here.
You know, I know that I'm in love with this girl, and I hope that she's in love with me.
Harry has publicly professed his love, whereas Meghan never has.
H, that man loves me so much. Super Mario Brothers, when you get to the final level, and what's the goal in Super Mario? They're like, slay the dragon, save the princess. I'm like, that's my husband. He's just out there, just constant, like he's just going to do whatever he can to make sure that our family is safe and protected and we're uplifted and still make time for date nights.
Harry might be done with her, though. Meghan has been trying to hoover him nowadays.
A letter.
He's also a fox, if you haven't noticed. My husband's very, very handsome. I made him lemon, ginger, manuka honey tea, and he just really wanted bacon. So I made a lot of bacon, and then I made H a breakfast sandwich.
Meghan is desperately trying to convince the world Harry is still hot for her.
The beginning, everyone is like butterflies, and then we immediately went into the trenches together.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate, like 6 months into dating. So now 7 years later, when you have a little bit of breathing space, you can just enjoy each other in a new way. And that's why I feel like it's more of a honeymoon period for us now. Yeah.
Do you think you'll be married forever?
Yes.
We just make it a point to date each other. And I told H that when we started dating. He goes, I vow to always date you. So we have this connection, I think, because we're so committed to treating each other the same way you did before you had a ring on it, before it was locked down, when you're just courting each other and you can see all the good and joy in that butterfly period. And that's, I think, what keeps things really alive. It's felt amazing. Honestly, it's felt just so amazing and fun.
Harry really is the worst judge of character.
For me, it's an added member of the family. It's another team player as part of the bigger team. And you know, for all of us, all we want to do is be able to carry out the right engagements, carry out our work.
Harry is to blame for subjecting the world to her royal annoyingness.
Make sure it stays on that finger.
Of course.
They've become a global laughingstock.
My husband and I often say if there's going to be so much focus on what we're doing, then to try to focus on what we're focusing on.
That's not what they're doing, though. Anything they focus on loses credibility just like them.
I'm the happiest that I've ever been. And that part, to have a partner and a husband who is just so supportive, and to have healthy kids that are so joyful in the freeness of their life and the safety of their life that we create for them,
I never, of all the things that have happened in my life, I never would have imagined getting here at this point. I would feel just so happy.
Meghan is trying to convince herself and the world of how happy she is when she's actually stumbling down the ladder that she was once at the top of. She's stooping to new lows with the likes of Balenciaga and the Kardashians.
Stop it. Get some help.
Meghan needs fashion help as well. Harry might find a grandma more appealing than his wife. It's like Meghan is trying to look like the least attractive woman in every room with her shabby clothes. Meghan can look pretty presentable if she tried, but she seems to be deliberately wrecking her brand. At this point, the only way for Meghan to be less annoying is to disappear from the public eye and live in privacy.
Well, people are sick of her. When she first came to the U.S., I think some people, wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt, wanted to give her a chance. But the PR strategy is just so horrible. And at this point, Americans just want her to go away.
Meghan should read the room, but her narcissism makes her tone deaf and the human equivalent of nails on a chalkboard.